and welcome, I hope, welcome back to Play It Loud. I want to talk a little about this. The Eagles, One of These Nights, fourth album. This is a remixed, not just remastered version, which is why I brought it. And before we go on, because there'll be those of you who have seen some of my videos, you know I'm a vinyl man. So why am I putting up the CD? Well, the reason is partly because of this. I have the box set of all the Eagles albums on vinyl. I think Bernie Grunman did the mastering, and it's very good. And I'm almost embarrassed, but I've got that as well. The original master recordings, the 45 Rev Absolute Sound version, and I don't need another vinyl version of One of These Nights. What I do need, and what I was interested in, is the live concert that comes with this, and I wanted to know what the remixing was like. I'm curious, so yeah, I can take it. I think the vinyl is about £35–40. CD, little cheaper, not an awful lot in it. I can, of course, record this so that I can play it on Apple when I'm out and about. Can't do that with the vinyl. So, where are we up to, and what's it like? I'll get straight into it. This is a really interesting remix. Now, for those of you who don't want to go on for a while, let me tell you straight away, if you have a very good, clean copy of One of These Nights on, I'm suggesting on vinyl, on CD maybe, you don't need to buy the new one unless you want to buy it for the live concert that goes with it. The remixing is subtle. It's very good, and sitting down and listening to it, not having it in background sound, it's obvious, and I think it's an improvement. So yeah, I was very, very pleased. So what have I done with this? Right, well, we played maybe 3 tracks, the 3 famous single tracks off of their Lying Eyes, One of These Nights, Take It to the Limit. And I compared it first with the Bernie Grunman vinyl. And I flipped backwards and forwards a few times. And the bass is better. The sound stage is wider. And I think the vocals have been brought a bit further forward. The harmonies are really excellent on the new remixing, and I'm impressed. So I'm thinking this is really good. I've gone backwards and forwards a few times. Inevitably and perhaps foolishly, I did at one point think, okay, love this CD, might even have to buy the vinyl to get the vinyl version of the live concert, but I will do a quick A/B with this. And inevitably, this knocks both the others out of the park. Thank you, Chaz. He does a really good job, but it damn well should. It costs, I think, 6–7 times more than this does. Okay, so what do you get on this apart from a remastered and remixed version of One of These Nights? You get a really excellent 2 vinyl or 2 CD here, live at Arnhem Stadium in September 75. Now, there are a few, most live Eagles albums, he said, grabbing one. This, I think, is the famous one. They came out late in the Eagles' career. I think even the first one came out somewhere in the 80s. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But because of that, they major on all 6 albums, but particularly Hotel California. There's a lot of tracks on there that tend to appear regularly. And of course, The Long Run. That's where their biggest selling albums were, so that's what you're going to put on the live albums. But at the risk of stating the obvious, they weren't out when this came out. They weren't out when this live concert was recorded. So what you get is tracks from their first album, tracks from their second album, and tracks from their third album, as well as a few off of this, at the expense of later stuff. Now, I'm a little bit odd. I love Hotel California, but I love Desperado. I think it's a fabulous album, and okay, I would put it up there. But take it through a bit. Their first album, Peaceful Easy Feeling, and try again. Peaceful Easy Feeling, and go on the Jackson Browne sound. They were Linda Ronstadt's backing band. Take It Easy. They weren't really well known, and they were a pop country band. The album sold well, they got a lot of airplay, but it didn't really take off. Certainly didn't take off in Europe and the UK, not at that time. It took the second album to do that. Second album, they started getting recognised, and they really did. But they're still doing covers by other writers, a fair number of covers. They covered Tom Waits' Soul 55. Jackson Browne was helping them out a lot. He wasn't the only one. They weren't writing everything, and I'm going to say again, come back to their last two albums, which I think were pretty much exclusively written by the Eagles. On these earlier albums, they weren't. They were doing covers, and very, very good covers. Bernie Leadon, this is his last album. He was replaced here by Joe Walsh. Never really understood why or how it happened. Inevitably, it was really good for them. Something happened when he left and Joe Walsh came in that made them the mega stars that they were and that they're remembered for now. Up until that point, they were still a bit country. They weren't a rock band. Bernie Leadon plays banjo, acoustic guitar. He played the Flying Burrito Brothers. I think he played on Dillard and Clark album. He was very much of the alt country leaning, not a rock man. So he leaves, and he leaves as this album's released. I'm going to go on to the live concert for a minute, because he comes into this. Right, first of all, the sound. Live concert sounds completely different to the one I showed you earlier on. The Eagles live albums are famous for having an awful lot of work done in the studio. I don't know how much, I don't think anybody does, but they weren't straight off the soundboards. They were doctored to sound as much like the studio versions as they possibly could, and they did it. And all credit to them. The live, that one tends to appear on an awful lot of hi-fi show demonstrations because it's such an excellent recording. This too is a really good recording, but this does not sound as if it's been doctored. This genuinely sounds like a young band really enjoying themselves. They've just become famous. I think in here at one point he says, oh, there must be 30,000 people here. Clearly that's a huge number for the Eagles in that time. I think they played to a lot bigger stadiums later in life, but it was massive. They just got there. They're still young and they're loving every minute of it. And it sounds like it. The sound is really, really good. Okay, Take It Easy. It's not a complete rerun of the studio. Yeah, of course it's that track, but it's slightly slower, different pace, different inflections on the vocals, which makes it interesting because we all know Take It Easy, I think probably note by note. Okay, Outlaw Man from Desperado with Dueling Dalton and a reprise. I said before, I love that album, and I don't think they've been recorded live, or if they have, I haven't got a copy. One of These Nights, title track from here. Old 55, great to hear that live. Tom Waits will be impressed. He'll be picking up some more royalties. Lying Eyes off of here and Take It to the Limit, both done brilliantly. Brilliantly. A real pleasure to listen to. Blackberry Blossom, an instrumental. Bernie Leadon. It's banjo led. It's, if I played it to somebody without telling them who it was, I very much doubt that they would understand or guess that it was the Eagles. Okay, Midnight Flyer, again from the old 55 album. Already Gone, same album. Too Many Hands, from here. James Dean. And then finally, Witchy Woman. I say finally because I think you can't hear it's been edited out, but I think that was probably the final before an encore at the concert. And as a small aside, I once had an acid tape of Witchy Woman, so tells you how old I am. Okay, they then introduce Joe Walsh and they play Rocky Mountain Way. Now, Rocky Mountain Way, this is a James Gang track. This is not an Eagles track. That was a great record. Really, sorry, this is a surprise, isn't it? No, I'm assuming they're into the encore. They then move into Carol. Carol, the Rolling Stones' second album. Chuck Berry, not something you would associate with the Eagles. And then finally, a lovely version of The Best of My Love. So, in summary, a really excellent live concert, which is worth the price of admission. It's worth getting either that, or if you're into it, the vinyl version, just for the live concert. Yeah, really nice stuff. So I hope that's brought you up to date with one of these nights. I'm glad I got it. Probably won't get the vinyl. I'll stay with what I've got here. If you get it, make sure you play it loud. Please subscribe. Until next time.